With the decision also comes new experiences. It brings also clarity. It also allows you to see new horizons. It also allows you to see doors that you didn't see before, keys that you didn't know you had in your hands before. You come into conversations you've never had before, ideas you had never thought before. You follow? But it came from a decision made. Not a decision delayed, but a decision made. A person's identity is tied in with them valuing themselves, them valuing what they can offer. I think when someone gets to a suicidal state, it's because their value has come into question. Their worth has come into question. But no person is not valuable. Every person is valuable. Every person is priceless. You cannot put the price on a person because the value is beyond, too high to attain to. That in a person, there is the overflowing opportunity. But you see, the thing about coming into that place is a decision. If I can cross that, so to speak, the river Jordan of my decision, or the Red Sea of my decision. See, when you read the story of the Exodus, when Moses was bringing the Israelites out of Egypt, that Red Sea became not just a crossing point, but a moment of decision, a transition into the new. When they went through the wilderness, of course, the second decision was crossing from the wilderness into the promise through the Jordan. And we all, in that same regard, have a crossing. If I'm saying something, someone on the other side might not altogether see my perspective of it because they're still standing there. But as soon as you make a decision, with a decision comes access, right? With a decision also comes new experiences. It brings also clarity. It also allows you to see new horizons. It also allows you to see doors that you didn't see before, keys that you didn't know you had in your hands before. You come into conversations you've never had before, ideas you had never thought before. You follow? But it came from a decision made. Not a decision delayed, but a decision made. And if I decide from this day onward, I go back to Daniel, in Daniel chapter 1. Daniel had purposed in his heart. Those key words. He had established the fact. Because faith always addresses its position from the fact. Faith's premise is fact. People think faith is just something in the air. No. Faith is trusting. And trusting has eyes, ears, hands, everything that recognize the fact. That's why faith's conversation is grounded in confidence. So a person who lacks confidence, saying they lack trust in themselves. They lack a certain level of the value that they already have attained, or they don't see it yet. And to recognize that value, most often you will find people looking for that validation from others. Facebook. The way you approach Facebook tells me I don't have to figure you out. I just have to see your posts to know what kind of mindset you are, what kind of person you are, what kind of day you are living. We can pretty much draw a profile of a person by their Facebook posts. If a person keeps posting about themselves, I'm just going to be raw here. They keep posting about themselves in a way that they're looking for validation. You can tell that they need to know their value. They need to discover their value. But the problem is, for a person to discover their value, they have to be willing to be mentored. They have to go through the mentorship process. They have to be willing to be chiseled. They have to be willing to be rebuked, be willing to be challenged in areas that they became comfortable in. And in order to break from that, what they call the comfort zone, because it's really their comfort zone is the imposter that has held them down and got them locked up in a place and caused them to not become free, but they chose to listen to the voice of bondage that kept them in there yesterday rather than listen to the voice of their freedom that is posturing them for their tomorrow. Hallelujah. Proverbs 16 The heart of the wise teaches his mouth. Did you hear that? The heart of the wise teaches his mouth and adds learning to his lips. Wow. Your heart teaches you your mouth to speak and adds learning to your lips. Out of the heart comes the issues of life, right? But we need to consider it this way. I think it's John or Jude, one of the above said it. They said it this way. Beloved, I pray that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thy soul prospereth. So, if my heart is teaching my mouth to speak, it's because my heart came into the deep counsels, into a room of deep counsels. I decided to take my heart to places where deep counsel exists, where mentorship exists, where discipleship exists, so that my heart can begin to learn to speak at that level. But read the next verse, Proverbs 16 verse 24. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. That's the power of mentorship. If a person can journey towards wealth, a person can walk with the Lord towards wealth. Can they experience some of the same things that Solomon experienced? Is that prayer only for Solomon? Is that wisdom prayer that he asked from the Lord only for Solomon, or was it an example for us? It was a response from God to show us there is that level of attainability in God. There is that level of access that exists in God. God's question to him was, ask what you want. And when you have an open question, open-ended question, what do you want? You can ask anything. In a moment, your mind is rushing to think, what should I ask for? Most people will immediately go, oh, I want wealth. I want to have so much wealth. I mean, that would be, this is just me, I'm thinking that would be the general higher majority would say that, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be poor anymore. The interesting fact about this actual thought is, if I said to you that that question is presented to you every day as a conscious decision to make, would you consider going that journey then? Would you consider realizing that, oh yeah, I've been asked that question? Some people say, oh no, but that question wasn't asked to me, so I guess it was only Solomon. The thing I'm saying is, on that note is, I have noticed it in my own journey that where I made excuses, there was no progress there. Where I made excuses, there was no progress. There was hindrance, there was restrictions. Every time that thought would visit me, I gave reasons for why I shouldn't participate, or why that shouldn't happen, or why I shouldn't do that. So the first thing I think that most people should deal with is checking out what reasons that they're giving towards things that they should be doing. Those reasons are actually their excuses, their blockages that are hindering that step forward. Oh, because I have this. There are people who are way more unfortunate than we are. Like, I have got 2 hands, 2 feet. There are people who don't have that and they're doing way better than I am. You know, that kind of thinking I should have in my head. Then I'm giving an excuse for the opportunity to present something of value. If we look at it from a spiritual context, what is value to you? You have to ask the question, what is value to you? I think that there are some fundamental, or there are some gold nuggets from heaven that in themselves are gold mines. They're gold mines. And value is a gold mine. It could be a gold nugget because a gold nugget comes from a gold mine. Value, the word. For a person to experience some form of growth, or at least growth, the essence of growth, growing faster, it doesn't matter the pace, but experience growth. For a person to experience growth, they have to go on a journey to discover value. They have to ask what value they have. Most people are looking at, I can't do this, I can't do that, because they have not given enough time to look internally to discover the gold mine, or the ocean that lies within them. that they've not discovered internally enough the equipment and the material they have, and not realized that what they have is in itself the doorway, the opportunity, the access to where they're going, to what they're about to step into. Value changes the way a man thinks or a woman thinks. Miles Monroe, I listened to him talk on the subject, and he said, make yourself a person of value. And as he was saying this, a thought came to me. You must be synonymous with the value you create. So when someone says Amazon, people think of Jeff Bezos. You follow?
Yes.
When someone says Microsoft, people think of Bill Gates. So you're synonymous with the value you create. And that value, what you create, that's your brand. What do you want them to remember you by? Who are your customers? You have to know who you are serving. Because when you know who you are serving, you're going to be focused. You're going to be intentional. You're going to niche down, as they say. You're going to niche down in a particular area of need. Where there is a need, there's always an answer. And value exists in that realm of answers. Because the potential power of value is able to answer that need. And so whatever a person has, they probably are already doing. You might say, oh, I don't know what value I carry. Start with kindness. Go and do voluntary work. Go and serve someone. Go and help out. Yeah, go and do work experience. You know, when you volunteer to do a job, at least already you should have some kind of hint. At least already you should have some kind of steering that that's the work you want to do. So when you go do some volunteer work, you start to realize, okay, everything you do, like I said, you gain something from those experiences. But through that process of doing volunteer work, you start to see your value shine. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. If it's not volunteer work for you, work on your hobbies. Work on your skills. Work on what you've been doing. Someone said, oh, I'm a painter, but I don't have the board and I don't have the paint. Well, what's stopping you? From that person's perspective was a reason. From my viewpoint, it was an excuse.